everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Maria. Today we are making 2 fall home decors. Let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to start by laying out our wood. This is the paint sticks that they have at Home Depot. This is the pack. This comes in a pack of 10. They are less than $2, and these are the pieces of wood that they have at the Dollar Tree in the wood section. I got 2 of those, and I have my Gorilla wood glue. We're gonna lay these out. I do use my square in the middle to kind of like measure out like the height and the distance and make sure that it's all in a straight line before I start gluing everything together. Okay, so here I'm using a piece of wood at the bottom just to make sure that everything is lined up correctly and everything is straight. So after I'm done doing that, I let it dry completely for a few hours, and then I come back to it because I'm going to paint it this time. But I'm going to paint it with the Very Faint wood stain. It's the Tintable wood stain that you can find at Home Depot. You can add any color you would like in it. This one I added like an off-white color because I wanted to give it like the antique look to it. So that's what I'm using. Home Depot has it. You can just ask one of the customer reps and they should be able to help you with it. I'll try to link it on my description page. If not, I will list it on there for you guys so you guys can look it up if you're interested. But Home Depot does have this. And so I use that and I start painting it, and I do 2 coats of this onto the wood. I do front and back because I wanted to make sure that the opening of it still had that color, because I didn't want it to look weird when it doesn't have the color on there. Okay, so once I'm done painting the paint sticks, I'm going to put it to the side, let it completely dry, and I'm going to pull out my arrow. This arrow I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint it with my Waverly Paint Pumpkin Orange. And then I'm going to use some Vaseline, put that over the orange, and then I'm going to use Folk Art Sheepskin, which is like a kind of light cream color, and I'm going to put it over it, and I'm going to use something to wipe it down just so you can see that orange come through it. Once that's completely dry, I put the word pumpkins on there. I printed out the words with my Cricut machine, weeded it out, and then I put it on my transfer tape, and I'll put it on top of the arrow. I do put the arrow on top of the paint sticks. I glue that with my wood glue, and I put it in an angle. I do not put it straight. I put it in an angle pointing in a whole different direction. Once I knew where I wanted it, then I put my wood glue on it, and I put that on there. And I do let this dry overnight because I was also doing a different project as well as this one. So once that was completely dry, I did use some antique wax and put that over the white section. After I was done with that, putting the antique wax, I do put that to the side while I am making my bow that it's going to go in the corner of that fence looking, which is, this is what it looks like. It's like a fence with the sign that says pumpkin. This is what it's supposed to be, but with the paint sticks instead. But that's me making my bow. Simple. A couple ribbons. I did use a piece of fabric on there as well. After I was done putting on the bow, I wanted this to stand up, so I needed to add some support to it. So I grabbed a piece of wood, cut it in half, used my hot glue gun, and put that in the back, and I added some small pieces of wood to be the support for the back. But it turned out really, really cute at the end. Okay, moving to our next project, I am making a fall sign that reads, "I love fall most of all." I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it plenty of times, but I saw this on Pinterest and I wanted to make it. So I'm going to use this piece of wood that I found at the Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to use my DIY paint that I mixed together. Is the Bohemian Blue and the 057. I mixed this in here a couple weeks ago. I used it to paint my ladder. And I like the color, and I had some left over and I didn't want to go to waste. I figured I'd use it for that. This is the color that I am incorporating in my fall decor this year. So I needed something else to paint it with, like to use it on. So I'm going to use my blower to dry that up a little bit, and I'm going to finish that piece later on in the video. Next, I'm going to use this round piece because this requires the two pieces, the top and the bottom. And this will be like the stand to hold the sign up. And I'm going to use my drill to drill a hole in the middle of that, and I'm going to use a skewer that also comes in the pack from the dollar store, and I'm going to put that in the middle because I'm going to use that to hold the beads in place. And the beads I got from Amazon, I will post everything in this video on the description box below. I will list everything on there, but I put that there, and I use 4 different sizes, and I start from biggest, moving on to the smallest, and then I go from the smallest to the biggest. Okay, once I picked out the beads that I needed, I then grabbed my top piece, the rectangle, and I put it on top and I measure it because I need to drill a hole in the bottom of that, because that other piece of that skewer is going to go into the bottom of that piece. The problem is that wood piece is not too thick, but it's not too thin either. So if you get the same piece, just be careful, because if you drill in an angle, it will pierce through the other side. I was really careful not to do that, and I didn't go in so deep, because if I did, I probably would have, but I didn't want to mess up the wood after I had already painted it. So I was careful when I did that. After I was done drilling the hole, I do end up gluing all the beads together onto the skewer. Okay, so when I wanted to paint this, I wasn't sure what color I was going to do the bottom. So I ended up adding my Bohemian blue and my antique wax into the paint palette, and I added some of the Crinoline, which is the DIY paint, and I mixed those colors together. And the other color was like a lighter version of the top piece, but I ended up using that one instead on the bottom, and I painted the beads. The beads were actually a lot easier to paint because they were already glued on there, so when you're painting they do not turn, which was 10 times better. But moving forward, I continued to paint that bottom piece, and I didn't want that other one to go to waste, so I do add that color in between the two blues that I do add onto that bottom piece. Now after I was done painting it, I do end up painting the two pieces, the beads and that circle piece, with the big top, because that gave it like the gloss that it needed. It made the color pop a lot more, and it came out really cute. So the second half, the top piece that I said I was going to finish later, I do add some Mod Podge to that, and then I add Crinoline on top. Let me tell you, whoever came up with this idea was like genius, because I like the way it came out with that crack look on it after you put the heat gun on it, because the glue dries, and then it wasn't completely dry when I added the Crinoline on it. Like, the paint color is Crinoline. And once I dry it, it just starts to all crack up. I don't know, I ended up liking the way it came out. I was very impressed. So after I do that, I do use my sand block, and I sand it down a little bit before I put my words on. Okay, so now I'm adding my words. I printed my words using my Cricut. It says, "I love fall most of all," and then I ended up, like, it looked kind of plain to me. I didn't really have to add anything, but I wanted to. And I got these rub-ons from the Dollar Tree last year in the fall. So I'm pretty sure they have them again this year, but they probably have other ones. But I ended up using that and rubbing it on, and then I used my hot glue gun to glue that to that bottom piece on top of the beads. Okay, so I forgot to mention that I do put some big top at the end of the top piece after I was done putting the rub-ons. So even though I don't think it needed it, I wanted to make a bow for the bottom of it, and that's what I did. I'm adding a bow, and it turned out really, really cute. Both these projects were fun to make. I had fun making both of them. Please like and subscribe for more. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.